Welcome to another warm breath in the quiet dark. Tonight's story floats from the steam and silence of a forgotten bathhouse, where stone remembers every footfall, and the water still sings of women once cradled within. It carries the scent of rose oil and lavender, the hush of hands that give care, and the deep stillness of being completely seen. The marble glows softly, the fire burns slow, and the steam drifts like prayer through the arches of old Florence. Let your shoulders drop, let the warmth find you, and if these gentle hours bring you peace, you might consider subscribing or telling us where and when you're listening from. Now, close your eyes and let the water carry you all the way home. The stones are wet tonight. They gleam like dark mirrors under the oil lamps that swing from their iron hooks. I can hear them creaking softly, the way old metal does when the wind finds it just right. My feet know these stones, every worn groove, every place where the rain pools and stays. I've walked this slope to San Frediano so many times now, down from my little room near Santo Spirito, down through the Oltrano, down toward the bathhouse where the warm water waits. The leather of my shoes is soft, worn thin in places, but it keeps the cold stones from my feet, just barely. I can feel them through the sole sometimes, smooth, cool, inviting in their own way. There's a lantern hanging outside Matteo's workshop. The glass is thick, by and yellow. It makes everything look like honey. The light catches on my hands as I pass. My fingers are stained a little, always stained, from the lye and the oils and the herbs. It doesn't wash away completely, not ever, but I don't mind. It's part of me now, part of who I am. The smell of the river is strong tonight. It carries up from the Arno on the wind, mixed with smoke from the chimneys, and something else, something green, like wet leaves, like the gardens behind the palazzo walls, where I sometimes catch glimpses through the iron gates. I pause at the corner where the street turns. There's a shrine here, small, built into the wall. The Madonna holds her child, both carved from white stone that's gone grey with age and weather. Someone left flowers today, wilted now, but still sweet, still trying to be beautiful. I touch the stone, just for a moment, the way I always do. It's cool under my fingertips, solid, real. The carved folds of her robe seem to move in the lamplight, shadows dancing, shifting, like water. Water, always I think of water. It's what I know, what I live with, what moves through my days like blood through my body. Warm water, scented water, water that holds steam and carries away the day's weariness. The bathhouse is just ahead now. I can see the light glowing behind the wooden shutters, soft, golden, like the inside of a shell, or the color of good olive oil when you hold it up to the sun. I think about Madonna Caterina. She hasn't come in 3 weeks now, maybe 4. I count the days sometimes, when I'm heating the water or grinding the soap herbs. I wonder where she is, if she's well, if she still wears her hair in those long braids that smell like rosewater and something else, something I could never quite name. She had hands like a musician, long fingers, soft palms. When I would wash them, she would close her eyes, lean back against the marble edge of the bath, and for those moments the world would get very quiet, very still. Just the sound of water lapping and her breathing, slow and deep. I miss her hands. The door to the bathhouse is heavy, oak with iron hinges that grunt when you pull, but inside everything is warm. The air wraps around me like a blanket, like arms. Steam rises from the pools. The marble glows in the candlelight, and I'm home. This is where I belong, in the warm, in the wet, in the quiet spaces between one breath and the next. I set down my bundle, my clean linens, my little pot of lavender oil, the things I carry from day to day, from night to night. They make soft sounds as I arrange them. Cloth against stone, glass against wood, the small music of familiar routines. The main bath is empty now. The last of the noble women left hours ago, but the water is still warm, still scented with the oils I added this morning, rose and bergamot and something else, something I picked up in the market, a spice from somewhere far away. It smells like dreams. I dip my hand into the water. It's perfect, not too hot, not too cool, just warm enough to make your skin sing, to make your muscles remember how to be soft. Madonna Caterina loved this temperature. She would slip into the water so slowly, inch by inch, like she was afraid of disturbing something sacred. Her skin was pale, soft, with freckles across her shoulders like scattered gold. I remember the first time I washed her hair. She was nervous, new to the bathhouse, new to having someone else's hands in her hair. But I was gentle. I always am. I worked the soap through her long strands, dark brown, almost black. And when I rinsed it, the water ran clear as glass. She sighed, then deep and low, a sound like contentment made audible, and I knew she would come back. She did come back, every week, sometimes twice, always asking for me, always settling into the water with that same careful slowness, like she was entering a church or a dream. I wonder if she found another bathhouse, another soap woman, someone with hands that know the right pressure, the right rhythm, someone who understands that washing is about more than getting clean. The candles flicker, long shadows move across the walls. The marble is smooth under my feet, cool and smooth and permanent. It makes me think of tombs, of monuments, of things that last, but also of skin, wet skin, warm skin, skin that yields under gentle pressure, that remembers touch long after the hands have moved away. I walk to the storage room. My footsteps echo softly. The sound bounces off the stone walls and comes back to me like an answer to a question I didn't know I was asking. The soap is waiting, white blocks of it, made from olive oil and ash and herbs. I made this batch myself, stirred it for hours while the lye worked. It's magic. Watched it thicken and pale and become something new, something useful, something that cleans without being harsh. I pick up a piece. It's smooth, dense. It smells like the countryside, like olive groves and wild herbs and clean rain. When I hold it to the light, I can see through it a little. like looking through colored glass or water. This is what I'll use tomorrow on whoever comes. Merchant wives with soft hands and worried faces. Young women preparing for marriage. Older women who carry the weight of years in their shoulders. All of them seeking the same thing. Warmth, cleanliness, a moment of peace in the middle of their complicated lives. I understand that need. I feel it myself. Sometimes when I'm alone here at night, I slip into the water. Let it hold me. Let it wash away whatever I've carried from the day. The ache in my hands, the tightness in my neck, the small sadnesses that collect like dust. Tonight feels like one of those nights. I move through the bathhouse slowly, checking the fires, making sure the water stays warm. The flames dance behind their iron grates. They make shadows that look like people, like figures moving just at the edge of sight. The air is thick with steam. It clings to my skin, beads on my arms, dampens my hair. I breathe it in deep. It tastes like minerals, like the deep places of the earth where hot springs are born. Madonna Caterina loved the steam. She would lean forward and let it rise. Around her face, her eyes would close, her lips would part slightly. And for those moments, she looked like she was receiving some kind of blessing, some kind of grace. I wanted to touch her face, then, to trace the line of her cheek with one wet finger, to see if her skin was as soft as it looked, but I never did. It wouldn't have been proper, wouldn't have been right. Still, I wondered. I still wonder. The water calls to me, dark and inviting. The surface moves slightly, tiny ripples that catch the light and throw it back in broken pieces, like stars, like scattered coins. I could slip in now, while the house is empty, while the night is quiet. I could let the warm water hold me, let it ease the day away. Let it prepare me for whatever tomorrow brings. But first, I want to check the oils, make sure they're ready for morning. The little glass bottles lined up like soldiers, each one holding its own magic. Its own promise of transformation. Rose for softness, lavender for peace, bergamot for brightness, and others, stranger ones. Oils that come from far places, that smell like mystery, like possibilities. I uncork the bottle of rose oil. The scent rises like a ghost, sweet and deep and complex. It makes me think of gardens, of summer evenings, of hands that know how to be gentle. Madonna Caterina wore rose oil sometimes, just a little, behind her ears, on her wrists. When she would raise her arms to pin up her hair, the scent would drift across the water, would wrap around me like a silk scarf. I wonder if she still wears it. If she still thinks of the bathhouse, of the warm water and the scented steam, of my hands working oil into her skin. Probably not. The wealthy have short memories for people like me. We're useful while we're useful, forgotten when we're not. It's the way of things, the way it's always been. But I remember her. I remember them all, the soft-spoken ones and the demanding ones, the shy ones and the bold ones. They all have something in common. They all want to be touched, carefully, respectfully, with hands that know their business. That's what I offer, what I've always offered. Not just cleanliness, but care, attention, the feeling that someone sees you, someone tends to you, someone makes sure you're warm and safe and clean. It's not a small thing, even if it seems small. Even if the world thinks it's small, the fire is getting low. I add another log, watch the flames leap up to embrace it. The wood is dry, good oak. It burns clean and steady. The kind of fire you can trust, like the work I do, steady, reliable. The same careful movements day after day. Oil into water, hands into hair, steam rising, tension dissolving, small transformations that add up to something larger. I think Madonna Caterina understood that. She never hurried me, never acted like my attention was something she was entitled to. She received it like a gift, grateful, present, fully there in the moment. That's rare. Most people carry their worries into the bath with them, their minds elsewhere, their bodies tense with unfinished business. But she knew how to let go, how to sink into the experience, how to let herself be cared for. I respected that, still do. The steam is rising thicker now. The added heat from the fresh wood making everything more intense, more dreamlike. The edges of things blur. The candle flames look soft. The shadows move like living things. This is my world, this in-between place. Neither fully day nor fully night. Neither fully alone nor fully with others. A place where the ordinary rules don't quite apply, where time moves differently, where touch means something more than it does in the daylight world. I dip my hand in the water again. It's still perfect, still inviting, still ready to receive whoever needs it. Maybe that will be me tonight. Maybe I'll slip out of my working dress, leave it in a careful pile on the stone floor, step into the warm embrace of the water, let it hold me the way I've watched it hold so many others. The thought makes my skin tingle, makes me aware of my body in a way I usually try to ignore during working hours. The weight of my breasts under the rough wool, the curve of my hips, the softness of my thighs. I'm a body too, not just hands that wash, not just a voice that soothes. I have skin that wants to be warm, muscles that want to relax, a heart that beats its steady rhythm whether anyone is listening or not. Madonna Caterina saw that, I think. The way she would look at me sometimes, not through me, at me, like she was seeing the person behind the service, the woman behind the work. It made me feel visible, real, more than just an extension of the bathhouse itself. I wonder if she's thinking of me tonight, wherever she is, whatever kept her away. I wonder if she misses the ritual. The weekly descent into warm water, the careful attention, the feeling of being completely, utterly clean. Probably not. She's probably found other things to occupy her time, other pleasures, other people. The world of the wealthy is full of distractions, full of ways to spend an afternoon. But still, I wonder. The candles have burned down quite a bit, wax pooling in their holders. The flames smaller but steadier. They'll last until morning. They always do. I measure them carefully. One more small skill in a life full of small skills. I walk to the window. It's small, set high in the wall, but through it I can see a piece of the night, a slice of Florence sleeping, the towers dark against the sky, the river moving quiet and silver in the moonlight. Somewhere out there, Madonna Caterina is sleeping too, in a bed with fine linens, in a room with painted walls, dreaming whatever dreams come to women of her station. Dreams of marriage, maybe, of position, of the complex negotiations that make up a life among the powerful. My dreams are simpler: water, warmth, hands that know their work, the satisfaction of a job done well, the quiet pleasure of being useful, of being needed. Not small dreams, just different. I turn back to the bathhouse, my domain, my kingdom of steam and stone. The water waits, patient, constant, ready. I think I will bathe tonight. Why not? The house is empty. The night is long. The water is perfect. And I am, after all, still a woman. Still someone who deserves care, even if I have to give it to myself. The decision makes me feel lighter, younger, like I'm preparing for something special, something just for me. I begin to unlace my dress, slowly, the way I've watched the noble women do it, with ceremony, with attention, like the removal of clothes is part of the ritual, part of the transformation from day self to night self. The laces are soft under my fingers, worn smooth by countless untying and retying. They slip free easily. The dress loosens, falls away from my shoulders, pools at my feet. The air is warm against my skin, moist, welcoming. I can feel the steam wrapping around me, can feel my body responding to the heat, relaxing, opening, preparing. I step toward the water. The marble is smooth under my bare feet, warm from the long day of heated airs. It feels alive somehow, responsive, like it's been waiting for this moment. The first touch of water is always a shock, even when you expect it, even when you've felt it 1,000 times before. The boundary between air and water, between dry and wet, between ordinary and sacred, I lower myself slowly, the way Madonna Caterina used to do, inch by careful inch, letting my body adjust, letting the water rise around me like a liquid embrace. It's perfect, exactly the right temperature, exactly the right depth. The water comes up to my collarbone, supports my arms, cradles my body like I'm something precious, something worth protecting. I close my eyes, let my head fall back against the marble edge, feel the steam rising around my face, the warmth penetrating deep into my muscles, into my bones, into places I didn't even know were cold. This is what they come for, this feeling, this complete, utter relaxation, this sense of being held, of being warm, of being clean in more than just the physical sense. I understand now, more than I ever have, what it means to surrender to the water, to let it take the weight of the day, the weight of worry, the weight of being always, always careful. My hands float beside me, free, aimless. For once, They don't have work to do, don't have someone else's body to tend. They can just be, just exist in the warm water without purpose or direction. It's strange, liberating, a little frightening. I think of Madonna, Caterina's hands. The way they would lie so still in the water while I worked, palms up, fingers slightly curved, completely trusting, completely vulnerable. Now I understand what that took, what it meant to let someone else be in charge, to let someone else decide what you needed, to receive care instead of giving it. The water laps gently against the sides of the bath. A soft sound, rhythmic, like breathing, like a heartbeat, like the sound the river makes when it's running quiet and deep. Steam rises from the surface, carries with it the scent of the oils, rose and bergamot, and that mysterious spice I can never quite identify. It surrounds me, fills my lungs, becomes part of me. I wonder if this is what it feels like to be wealthy, to have this whenever you want it, not as a rare gift to yourself, but as an expected part of life. Water always warm, oils always ready, someone always there to tend to your needs. It must change you, that kind of comfort, that kind of certainty. It must make you softer in some ways, harder in others. Madonna Caterina was soft. I remember that clearly, the way she would melt into the water, the way her face would go peaceful, the way she would trust me with her body, her comfort. Her moment of quiet in what must have been a very complicated life. But there was something harder underneath, something that had learned to expect service, to accept it as natural, as deserved, not cruel, never cruel, but distant. The distance that comes from always being the one who receives rather than gives. I don't judge her for it. How could I? We all become what our circumstances make us. She was born to receive care. I was born to give it. These are just facts. Like the color of our hair or the shape of our hands. But tonight, in this warm water, those facts feel less fixed, less permanent. Tonight, I'm the one receiving. Tonight, I'm the one being held. The sensation is intoxicating, makes me dizzy, makes me want to stay here forever, to become part of the water, part of the steam, part of the quiet, eternal rhythm of warmth and wetness and peace. But I know I can't. Morning will come. The fires will need tending. The water will need refreshing. Other women will come seeking what I'm experiencing now, and I'll need to be ready to give it to them. That's my role, my purpose, my small but important place in the great machinery of the city. Still, for now, for this moment, I can just be, can just float and breathe, and feel the water working its magic on my tired body, my careful soul. The candles flicker, cast moving shadows on the walls, make the whole bathhouse seem alive, breathing, pulsing with quiet energy. I think of all the women who have sat in this same water, felt this same warmth, received this same gift of temporary weightlessness, where, connected all of us, by the water, by the need for care, by the deep, wordless understanding that sometimes we all just need to be held. Madonna Caterina was one of them, is one of them, wherever she is tonight, whatever keeps her away. She knows this feeling, this peace, this moment of complete, utter relaxation. Maybe that's enough. Maybe it doesn't matter that she's gone. Maybe what matters is that she was here, that she knew this, that she trusted me to give it to her. Maybe that's all any of us can do. Offer what we have, receive what we can. Trust in the water, trust in the warmth, trust in the possibility that someone, somewhere, is thinking of us with kindness. The water is cooling slightly, not enough to be uncomfortable, just enough to remind me that nothing lasts forever, that even perfect moments have their limits, but not yet, not quite yet. I have a little more time, a little more warmth, a little more of this rare, precious gift of being cared for, even if I am the one doing the caring. The steam swirls around me, the shadows dance, the water holds me like a lover, like a mother, like the world itself reaching out to say, "You matter, you are worth this, you deserve gentleness." I close my eyes and believe it. For this moment, I believe it completely. The stones know I'm here. The water knows. The steam knows. They all bear witness to this small act of self-tenderness, this quiet rebellion against the idea that some people give care and others receive it, and never the two shall meet. Tonight they meet in me. Tonight I am both giver and receiver, both the soap woman and the woman who needs soap, both the one who tends and the one who needs tending. It's a kind of completion, a closing of a circle I didn't even know was broken. Madonna Caterina would understand, I think. She knew something about circles, about the way giving and receiving can blur together, about the way water can make philosophers of us all. The thought makes me smile, makes me feel less alone in this warm, quiet space, makes me feel connected to something larger than myself, larger than the bathhouse, larger than Florence sleeping outside my window, connected to all the women who have ever sunk into warm water and felt their burdens float away. All the women who have ever closed their eyes and trusted in the possibility of peace. We are legion. We are eternal. We are the reason bathhouses exist. The reason hands learn to be gentle. The reason water stays warm through the long, complicated night. I am one of them. Tonight, finally, completely, I am one of them. The water laps, the steam rises, the candles burn steady and true, and I am home, in my body, in the water, in this moment of perfect, temporary grace. The city sleeps around me, but I am awake, awake and warm and held, awake and grateful, awake and completely, utterly clean. Soon I will rise from the water, will dry myself with soft linen, will bank the fires and prepare for morning, will return to my small room and my narrow bed and my dreams of other people's comfort, but not yet, not quite yet. For now there is only this, water and warmth and the steady rhythm of my own breathing. The sound of Florence dreaming, the feel of steam on my face, the perfect, peaceful knowledge that some things last, some things endure, Some things matter. Water matters. Warmth matters. The careful tending of tired bodies and weary souls. It all matters. I matter. The water whispers agreement. The stones hum their ancient song. The candle flames dance their approval. And slowly, gently, inevitably, I begin to drift. Not toward sleep, not yet, but toward something deeper, something quieter, something that feels like coming home to a place I never knew I'd left. The water holds me. The night embraces me. The bathhouse keeps its faithful watch, and I float and breathe, and feel myself dissolving into something larger, something warmer, something infinitely, eternally kind. The steam grows thinner. My breathing grows deeper. The edges of things soften and blur. I am the water. The water is me. We are the same thing, the same warm, constant, patient thing. My eyes grow heavy. My body grows light. The boundary between floating and flying disappears. There is only warmth, only wetness, only the endless, gentle rhythm of water lapping against stones. Only peace, only this, only I breathe, deep and slow, in and out, like the tide, like the river, like the eternal circulation of water through the world. And somewhere in that breathing, somewhere in that rhythm, somewhere in the warm embrace of water and stone and flickering light, I find myself drifting toward sleep, toward dreams of hands and water and the gentle, endless work of caring. Toward rest. The steam is thin now. My body is warm. The water holds me still. I close my eyes. I breathe, and softly, gently, like water finding its level, I sleep. The morning light is thin when I wake, gray, uncertain, like it's not quite sure if it wants to be day yet. I can see it creeping through the small window of my room above the bathhouse, touching the edges of things, making them real again. My body remembers the water, still feels warm, still feels held. The memory of floating lives in my muscles, in my bones. It's a good way to start the day with the echo of care still humming through me. I dress slowly, the same gray wool dress I wore yesterday, the same soft leather shoes, the same careful arrangement of myself that gets me through the daily work. But today feels different, softer somehow, like the water left something behind, some gift I can carry with me. Downstairs, the bathhouse is cool and quiet. The pools are still, dark mirrors reflecting nothing. The fires have burned low, just embers now, glowing red hearts in beds of white ash. First things first, I rebuild the fires, add fresh wood, coax the flames back to life. They catch quickly, eager, like they've been waiting all night for this moment of return. The wood is good oak, seasoned. It burns clean and steady. The smoke rises straight up through the flues. No waste, no unnecessary complexity. Just heat doing what heat does best. While the fires work their magic, I check the water, test the temperature with my hand. Still warm, but not warm enough. The night has taken some of the heat away. Not much, but enough that I need to add more. Need to. Bring it back to that perfect place where bodies can surrender completely. This is the morning ritual. Fire and water, heat and flow. The careful orchestration of elements that makes the rest possible. It's not glamorous work, not the kind that draws attention or praise, but it's essential, foundational, the invisible structure that holds everything else up. I understand foundations. I've built my life on them. Small, reliable routines that accumulate into something larger, something stable, something that can bear weight without breaking. Madonna Caterina never saw this part, the early morning preparation, the careful tending of practical things. She arrived when everything was ready, when the magic was complete, when all she had to do was slip into perfection and let it surround her. Not her fault. That was her role. Receiver, consumer of comfort. She played it well, with grace, with appreciation, with a kind of elegant acceptance that made the work feel worthwhile. But I wonder sometimes what she would think of this, the unglamorous foundation, the careful measurement of wood and water and time, the way everything beautiful begins with something ordinary. The fires are strong now. The water is warming. I can feel the change in the air, the way it starts to carry moisture, to soften, to become the kind of atmosphere that makes shoulders drop and breathing deepen. Time for the soap. I walk to the storage room. My footsteps echo in the stone space. The sound is different in the morning, sharper, more defined, as if the night has cleared away some invisible softness that usually cushions everything. The soap waits where I left it, white blocks arranged on wooden shelves, each one perfect, dense, ready for transformation. I made this batch 3 days ago, stirred it while it was still liquid, watched it thicken and pale and become something new. That's the mystery of soap making. The way simple things combine to create something essential, something that cleanses without destroying, something that's both practical and almost magical. Oil and ash and time, that's all it is, but also so much more. I select the blocks I'll need for today. Feel their weight in my hands. They're substantial, real, honest in the way that well-made things are honest. No pretense, no false promises. Just the clean, direct intention to make things better. This is what I'll grind today, what I'll dissolve into scented luxury, what will carry the oils and herbs and transform ordinary water into something transformative. The grinding room is small, just big enough for the stone mortar and pestle. The tools are old, worn smooth by years of use. The mortar is carved from a single piece of grey stone. The pestle fits my hand perfectly, like it was made for my grip, my rhythm, my particular way of working. I place the first block of soap in the mortar. It sits there, waiting, patient, ready to be broken down and built back up into something more complex, something more beautiful. The first stroke of the pestle is always the hardest, breaking that smooth surface, disturbing that perfect wholeness. But it has to be done. Perfection is useful, but it's not flexible. It can't adapt, can't become what's needed in the moment. The soap crumbles under pressure, white flakes, then powder, then something finer, something that starts to look less like a thing and more like a possibility. This is meditation for me, the steady rhythm of grinding, the gradual transformation of solid into powder, of finished into raw material, of one thing into the components of many things. Pound, turn, pound, turn. The stone sings against stone, a low, musical note that changes as the soap gets finer, as the texture shifts from coarse to smooth, to something almost like silk. Madonna Caterina had skin like silk, not literally, of course, but that same smoothness, that same softness under the fingertips. When I would wash her arms, the soap would glide across her skin, like it was greeting an old friend. She had freckles on her shoulders, small ones, scattered like stars across the pale landscape of her back. I noticed them the second time she came, memorized their pattern while I worked oils into her skin, a constellation known only to me. I wonder if anyone else has noticed those freckles, if anyone else has traced their arrangement with careful eyes, if anyone else has thought about them during the long spaces between visits. The soap is powder now, fine and white, and ready for the next step. I add it to the mixing bowl. Watch it settle into a small mountain of possibility. Soon it will be liquid. Soon it will be scented. Soon it will be ready to work its small magic on whoever comes seeking cleanliness. Now for the oils. The oil room is my favorite part of the bathhouse. Small glass bottles lined up like little soldiers, each one holding its own particular essence, its own gift to the larger project of transformation. Rose oil, sweet and complex. The scent of gardens and summer evenings and things too beautiful to last. I uncork the bottle and breathe deep. It makes me think of silk and candlelight, and the way Madonna Caterina's hair fell across her shoulders when she leaned forward. Lavender oil, clean and sharp and somehow comforting. The scent of laundered sheets and herb gardens, and the kind of sleep that comes without dreams. This one grounds the rose, keeps it from being too sweet, too overwhelming. Bergamot oil, bright and surprising, like sunlight through green leaves, like laughter in an unexpected place. This one lifts everything else, makes it sparkle, makes it feel alive. And then the special one, the oil I bought from a merchant who wouldn't tell me where it came from, wouldn't tell me what it was made from, just smiled and said it would make my soaps unforgettable. He was right. It has a scent like nothing else, warm and cool at the same time, familiar and foreign, sweet and sharp. It's the smell of mystery, of places I'll never see, of stories I'll never hear. Madonna Caterina loved this oil. I could see it in her face when the scent first reached her, the way her eyes would close, the way her breathing would change, the way she would settle deeper into the water, as if the smell itself was a kind of embrace. I never told her it was my secret ingredient, my own small contribution to her weekly ritual. But I think she knew. I think she understood that someone was thinking about her comfort, about her pleasure, about the small details that make ordinary experiences extraordinary. I measure each oil carefully. A few drops of this, a few drops of that. The proportions matter. Too much rose, and it becomes cloying. Too much lavender, and it becomes medicinal. Too much bergamot, and it overwhelms everything else. But when the balance is right, when each scent finds its proper place in the larger symphony, then something magical happens. Something that's more than the sum of its parts. Like life, like relationships, like the careful dance between the one who gives care and the one who receives it. The oils bloom in the warm water, spread and merge, and find their proper relationships. The scent rises like a prayer, like an invitation, like a promise that here, in this place, at this moment, everything will be perfect. I add the soap powder slowly, stir gently, watch it dissolve and disappear into the liquid. The water turns milky, soft. It has substance, now, presence, the ability to cling and cleanse and carry, sent deep into grateful skin. This is the moment I love most, when all the separate elements become one thing, when the ordinary water becomes something special, something worthy of the trust that will be placed in it. The mixing is its own meditation, slow circles, clockwise, the wooden spoon worn smooth by my hand, by countless other hands before mine. The motion is hypnotic, soothing, like drawing invisible symbols in the liquid surface, circle after circle. The soap dissolves completely. The oils distribute evenly. The scent rises and fills the small room with its complex sweetness. Everything is ready. Everything is perfect. Now I wait, not long, just until the water finds its proper temperature, until the bathhouse fills with the right kind of warmth, until the morning light grows. Be strong enough to make everything beautiful. This is the quiet time, the space between preparation and arrival, when the work is done. But the day hasn't really begun, when I can sit in the warm, scented air and let my mind wander where it will. Usually it wanders to hands, to the different ways women hold themselves in the water, to the various rituals of trust and vulnerability that play out in this warm, private space. Some women are careful, precise. They lower themselves into the water with the kind of control that speaks of lives, lived under constant observation, every movement measured, every gesture calculated for its effect on invisible watchers. Others are abandoned, reckless in their pleasure. They sink into the warmth like they're disappearing into it, like they want to dissolve completely, to become part of the water itself. Madonna Caterina was neither, or both. She had control, but it was the control of someone who had learned to trust, who had found, in this place, permission to let go safely, to be vulnerable without consequence. I admired that still do, the way she could hold both things at once, dignity and surrender, strength and softness, the way she could be completely present in her body without losing herself completely. That takes practice, takes wisdom, takes the kind of deep self-knowledge that comes from years of careful attention to what you need, what you want, what makes you feel most yourself. I'm still learning those things. still figuring out the difference between what I think I should want and what I actually need, between what the world tells me I deserve and what my body knows to be true. Last night helped. The water helped. The permission to receive instead of always giving. The reminder that I have skin too, needs too, places that ache for gentle attention. It's easy to forget that when your days are spent focused on other people's bodies, other people's comfort, easy to start thinking of yourself as just hands, just a service, just a means to someone else's relaxation. But I'm more than that. I have to be more than that. Otherwise, the work becomes hollow, mechanical, a going through the motions that serves no one well. The scented water reminds me the careful attention to oils and temperatures and the perfect balance of elements. This isn't just work. This is craft, art, a form of devotion to the idea that comfort matters, that pleasure matters, that the careful tending of bodies is a sacred responsibility. Madonna Caterina understood that, I think. The way she would settle into the water wasn't just about getting clean. It was about honoring something, acknowledging something, participating in something larger than herself. What, exactly? Hard to say. But I felt it too. Feel it still. The sense that what happens here is important in ways that go beyond the practical, beyond the simple exchange of coin for service. This is about trust, about the willingness to be vulnerable in the presence of another, about the courage to need care and the grace to receive it well. Not everyone has that courage. Not everyone has that grace. Some women come here and never really arrive, never really let themselves sink into the experience. They remain alert, guarded, half in and half out of their own pleasure. I don't judge them for it. The world is not kind to women who let their guard down, who trust too easily, who allow themselves to be seen in their full vulnerability. Better to be careful, better to hold something back. But it makes me sad sometimes, the waste of it, the missed opportunity for complete rest, for the kind of deep relaxation that can only come from total surrender. Madonna Caterina knew how to surrender, how to give herself over to the experience completely, how to trust that she was safe here, that nothing would be asked of her that she wasn't willing to give. Maybe that's what I miss most about her visits. Not just her presence, but her example. The way she showed me what it looked like to receive care gracefully, to be vulnerable with dignity, to trust without losing strength. I'm trying to learn those things myself, to carry her example into my own small experiences of being cared for, to remember that grace when I'm the one in the water instead of the one tending it. It's harder than it looks. This business of being cared for, of letting someone else be in control, of trusting that your needs will be met without having to manage every detail yourself, but worth learning, worth practicing, worth the discomfort of not being the one in charge. The morning light is stronger now, golden, warm. It streams through the high windows and makes everything in the bathhouse glow. The water, the stone, the steam rising from the surface like visible prayers. Soon the first clients will arrive. The day will begin in earnest. The quiet meditation of preparation will give way to the active work of service. Hands in water, oils on skin, the steady rhythm of care given and received. Mere ready for it, more ready than usual, somehow. The memory of last night's bath still warm in my muscles, still singing in my bones. I know now, in a way I didn't before, what I'm offering, what it feels like to receive it, why it matters. That knowledge will make me better at what I do, more present, more aware, more able to create the conditions for that perfect surrender. I witnessed so many times in Madonna Caterina. Maybe she'll come back today. Maybe whatever kept her away has resolved itself. Maybe I'll see her at the door, that familiar smile, that graceful way of moving through space, like she's dancing to music only she can hear. Maybe, but probably not. The wealthy have other concerns, other priorities, other places to spend their afternoon hours. The bathhouse is a luxury, not a necessity. Something to be enjoyed when convenient, abandoned when not. I understand that, accept it. It's the nature of the work, the nature of the relationship between server and served. Temporary, conditional, based on need and availability, and the complicated mathematics of desire and coin. But still, I hope she's well. Hope she's found other sources of comfort, other hands to tend her hair, other waters to hold her tired body, other oils to carry the scent of care into her carefully ordered days. Or maybe she's learned to care for herself. Maybe she's discovered what I discovered last night, that the hands that give care can also receive it, that the one who tends can also be tended, that there's no law that says service only flows in one direction. That would be good. That would be the best possible outcome. Not that she comes back to me, but that she doesn't need to, that she's found within herself the grace she used to seek here. The water is perfect now, the right temperature, the right balance of soap and oil and mystery. The fires burn steady, the steam rises gentle and sweet. Everything is ready. I arrange the linens, soft and white and perfectly clean. I check the towels, the oils, the small implements of care and comfort. Everything in its proper place, everything prepared for the day's work. The first knock will come soon. A woman seeking what they all seek. Warmth, cleanliness, a moment of peace in the middle of her complicated life, and I'll be ready to give it to her, to create the conditions for her own small miracle of surrender. That's what I do, what I've always done. Create space for other people's peace, other people's pleasure, other people's moment of perfect, temporary grace. It's good work, important work, work that matters in ways both obvious and subtle. Work that connects me to something larger than myself, larger than the bathhouse, larger than Florence sleeping and waking around me. Work that makes me part of the great ongoing project of human tenderness, the endless effort to care for each other, to ease each other's burdens, to create small pockets of warmth and safety in a world that's often cold and dangerous. Madonna Caterina was part of that project too, in her own way, with her own gifts. Her ability to receive care gracefully was its own form of service. Her trust was its own form of generosity. Her surrender was its own form of strength. I see that now, understand it in a way I couldn't before last night's bath. Taught me what it felt like to be on the receiving end, to be the one held instead of holding, to be the one tended instead of tending. We were partners, she and I, in the great dance of giving and receiving, each playing our role, each offering what we had, each taking what we needed, each making the other's gift possible. That's beautiful, that's worthy, that's enough. The knock comes, soft but confident, the sound of someone who knows she's welcome, who knows what waits behind the heavy oak door. I smooth my dress, check my hair, arrange my face into its working expression, calm, competent, ready to serve. But underneath, something new, something warm, something that remembers floating in scented water under a candlelit sky, something that knows now what I'm really offering. Not just cleanliness, not just comfort, but connection, understanding, the rare and precious gift of being truly seen, truly tended, truly cared for. I walk to the door, my footsteps soft on the warm stone, my hands steady, my heart open to whatever the day will bring. The door is heavy. The hinges protest slightly as I pull it open. But behind it is light, warmth, the promise of meaningful work well done. A woman stands there, not Madonna Caterina, someone new, someone I don't recognize. But her eyes hold the same need, the same hope, the same willingness to trust a stranger with her vulnerability. Good morning, I say, my voice steady, welcoming, professional. The water is ready. She smiles, steps inside, begins the small ritual of preparation that I know so well. The careful removal of cloak and gloves, the gradual transition from street self to bath self. I close the door behind her, lock it against the world outside, create the sacred space where transformation can occur, where the ordinary rules don't quite apply, where care flows like water and trust dissolves like the finest soap. The day begins. The work continues. The great project of human tenderness moves forward one gentle touch at a time, and I am part of it, essential to it, changed by it in ways I'm only beginning to understand. The steam rises, the water waits. My hands remember their purpose. All is ready, all is well, all is as it should be. The woman settles into the warm water, sighs, lets her shoulders drop, allows herself to be held, and I begin again. The ancient work, the essential work, the work that connects us all in the endless circle of giving and receiving and giving again. Water and oil and time, hands and trust, and the patient accumulation of small kindnesses. This is my world. This is my gift. This is what I offer to the complicated, beautiful, endlessly surprising dance of human connection. One bath at a time. One moment of care at a time. One perfect temperature at a time. The work continues. The water holds us all. The steam carries our prayers up to whatever listens, and all is well, all is warm. All is exactly as it should be. The morning stretches ahead, full of possibility, full of the promise of useful work and meaningful connection. I am ready for it, more ready than I've ever been. The soap dissolves, the oils spread, the day unfolds like a flower opening to the sun, and I am home, in my element, in my purpose, in the warm, wet, wonderful world of caring for others and learning, finally, to let others care for me. The steam grows thicker, the water grows warmer, the boundaries between giver and receiver blur and dissolve. There is only this moment, this work, this endless, essential circulation of tenderness. This is enough. This is everything. This is home. I breathe deep. The scented air fills my lungs, becomes part of me, changes me from the inside out, ready, always ready, for whatever comes next. The water waits, patient and eternal and perfectly, endlessly warm, like love, like grace, like the best parts of being human. I dip my hands into the perfect water, feel it embrace my fingers, welcome me home. Time to begin, time to serve, time to be part of something beautiful. The work calls, and I answer, gratefully, completely, with my whole heart. The steam is thick now. My hands are warm. The day stretches ahead like a promise. I close my eyes. I breathe, and gently, naturally, inevitably, I begin. The last woman leaves as the bells of Santo Spirito ring vespers. Her footsteps fade down the stone corridor. The heavy door closes with its familiar groan, and suddenly the bathhouse is mine again. Mine and the silences, mine and the steams, mine and the warm, patient water that has held so many bodies today, so many stories, so many small surrenders to the possibility of peace. I move through the closing rituals slowly, banking the fires, checking the oil levels, arranging the linens for tomorrow's washing. My hands know these motions, could perform them in sleep, in dreams, in that strange space between waking and rest, where the body remembers what the mind forgets. The water in the main bath is still warm, still inviting, still scented with the day's careful mixture of oils and soap and something less tangible, something that comes from skin and hair and the invisible emanations of relaxation, of trust given and received. I tested new proportions today, more of the mysterious oil, less bergamot. The result was different, deeper somehow, more complex, like a melody played in a minor key instead of major. Still beautiful, but with shadows, with questions. The women noticed. I could see it in their faces as they settled into the water. A moment of surprise, of recognition without understanding, like encountering a familiar scent in an unexpected place. Madonna Elena asked about it. The merchant's wife with the nervous hands and the laugh that comes too quickly. Something's different today, she said, eyes closed, voice dreamy, something more. I didn't tell her what, didn't explain the alchemy of oil and intuition that led to this particular mixture. Some things are better left mysterious, better left to work their magic without the interference of explanation. She stayed longer than usual, sank deeper into the water, let her vigilance dissolve along with the soap bubbles. For those moments, she wasn't the merchant's wife, wasn't the mother of 3, wasn't the woman who manages accounts and settles disputes and keeps the complicated machinery of commerce running smooth. She was just herself, raw, real, present in her body in a way that's rare for women of her station, of any station, really. That's what the water does, what the oils do, what the careful attention to temperature and scent and the 1,000 small details of comfort accomplish. They create a space where pretense becomes unnecessary, where the masks we wear for the world can be set aside safely, not forever, just for a little while, just long enough to remember what we feel like underneath all the roles and responsibilities and expectations, just long enough to breathe. The bathhouse is quiet now, empty of voices, empty of the subtle tensions that come when bodies share space, when vulnerabilities are exposed, when the usual hierarchies of power and wealth and social position become temporarily irrelevant. In the water, we're all the same, all soft skin and tired muscles and the deep, wordless need for gentleness, all equally grateful for warmth, all equally deserving of care. Madonna Caterina understood that. I remember the way she would look at the other women sometimes, not with the calculating assessment that passes for social awareness among the wealthy, but with something softer, something that acknowledged the shared humanity of floating in warm water, while someone else tends to your comfort. She never spoke to them directly. That would have violated too many unspoken rules, but she was present with them, aware of them in a way that was respectful without being familiar, distant without being cold, a difficult balance, one that speaks to both breeding and genuine sensitivity. Not everyone could manage it. Not everyone would try, but she did. She brought grace to the complicated social choreography of the bathhouse, made everyone feel safer, more seen, more worthy of the luxury they were purchasing. I missed that about her visit, the way her presence elevated everyone else's experience, the way her natural dignity gave permission for others to find their own. Without her, the dynamics are different, less settled, less sure. The women eye each other more carefully, judge more harshly, compete in subtle ways for attention, for the recognition that yes, they belong here, yes, they deserve this. It's exhausting sometimes, managing those undercurrents, smoothing the rough edges of insecurity, disguised as entitlement, making sure everyone feels special without making anyone feel excluded. But that's part of the work, part of what I'm paid for, though it's never spoken of directly. The emotional labor of creating harmony, of making disparate women feel comfortable sharing this intimate space. Madonna Caterina made that work easier. Her presence was a kind of anchor, a standard of behavior that others could follow, a reminder that grace was possible even in vulnerability. Now I have to create that anchor myself, have to be the one who sets the tone, who demonstrates that dignity and surrender can coexist, that strength and softness are not opposites. It's a responsibility I'm still learning to carry, still figuring out how to embody, how to be professional without being cold, caring without being familiar, present without being intrusive. The water helps, the ritual helps, the oils and the steam and the careful attention to every detail of comfort. They create their own kind of authority, their own permission structure. When everything is perfect temperature, scent ambience, the women relax into trust naturally. They don't have to think about whether they're safe, whether they're valued, whether they matter. They just are, in their bodies, in the moment, in the warm embrace of water that asks nothing and gives everything. That's what I'm really selling. Not cleanliness, not luxury, but the rare and precious gift of simply being, without explanation, without justification, without the constant effort of proving worthiness. Madonna Caterina knew that, valued that, understood that what I offered was more than soap and warm water. It was sanctuary, a weekly pilgrimage to a place where she could set down the weight of being, constantly observed, constantly judged, constantly required to be more than human. I wonder if she's found another sanctuary, another place where she can simply exist without performance, without the exhausting work of meeting everyone else's expectations. I hope so. I hope she's discovered that sanctuaries can be internal as well as external, that the peace we find in perfect circumstances can be cultivated even in imperfect ones. That would be the greatest gift I could give her. Not just the temporary relief of warm water and gentle hands, but the knowledge that such relief is always available, always accessible, as close as the next breath, the next moment of choosing ease over effort. The main bath beckons, steam rising from its surface like a visible invitation. The water is cooler now, but still warm enough, still ready to receive whatever I need to release from this long day of service. I should clean it first, refresh it, prepare it for tomorrow's careful chemistry of oil and soap and mystery. But something in me resists, wants to enter it as it is, wants to sink into water that still holds the memory of other bodies, other stories, other moments of surrender. Is that strange? Wanting to connect with the women who came before through the medium of shared water, wanting to feel part of the ongoing flow of care and comfort that moves through this place like a river. Maybe, but it feels right tonight, feels like honoring something, acknowledging something, participating in something larger than my individual need for warmth and relaxation. The communal aspect of bathing, the way water connects us across time and space, the way sinking into warmth that held others is a form of intimacy, of shared humanity. Ancient peoples knew this, built their bathhouses as social spaces, places where the boundaries between self and other could dissolve safely, where individual could remember their place in the larger body of community. We've lost some of that, made bathing private, solitary, a personal luxury rather than a shared ritual. But here, in this space, something of the old way persists, something of the ancient understanding that cleanliness is both individual and collective, both physical and spiritual. Madonna Caterina felt it too. I could see it in the way she would settle into water that had held other women, the way she would breathe deeper, relax more completely, like she was drawing strength not just from the warmth but from the connection, the continuity, the sense of being part of something eternal. Women have always needed this space apart from the world's demands, this time to tend to themselves without apology, without the water offers that permission, has always offered it, will always offer it, long after I'm gone, long after the women who come today are gone, long after Florence itself is just a memory. Water endures, warmth endures, the human need for gentleness endures. That's comforting somehow, knowing that this work will continue, that other hands will learn to measure oil and tend fires and create the conditions for small miracles of surrender, that other women will discover what Madonna Caterina discovered, what I discover every time I slip into the warm embrace of perfectly prepared water, that we are more than our roles, more than our responsibilities, more than the endless work of meeting other people's needs. We are bodies, we are souls, we are deserving of care, we are worthy of tenderness, we are allowed to need comfort and to receive it gracefully. The steam calls to me, rises from the water like visible prayer, like invitation, like promise. I begin to undress, slowly, with ceremony, the way I've learned to do everything here, with attention, with intention, with respect for the ritual and what it represents. The wool dress falls away, the chemise follows, the soft leather shoes, the careful construction of respectability that gets me through the working day. Underneath, I'm just skin, just the body that carries me through the world, just the collection of muscles and bones and soft places that remembers touch, that craves warmth, that knows, without being told, what it needs. The air is warm against my nakedness, moist, welcoming. I can feel it wrapping round me like silk, like the embrace of something that loves me unconditionally. The first step into the water is always a shock, even when you know it's coming, even when you felt it 100 times before. The boundary between air and water, between dressed and undressed, between separate and connected. But then the shock fades, becomes anticipation, becomes the exquisite pleasure of sinking into exactly the right temperature, the right depth, the right embrace. I lower myself slowly, inch by careful inch, the way Madonna Caterina used to do, the way all the women do when they remember that this is ritual, not just hygiene, sacred, not just practical. The water rises around me, accepts me, welcomes me into its warm democracy. Here I'm not the soap woman, not the one who serves, not the careful professional who manages other people's comfort. I'm just me, raw, real, present in my body in a way that's rare, precious, always surprising in its simplicity. My breasts float, my hair spreads around my shoulders like dark silk. My hands drift aimless and free. For once, they don't have work to do, don't have someone else's body to tend. They can just be, just exist in the warm water without purpose or direction. It's strange, liberating, a little frightening. the scent of the day's oils surrounds me. Rose and lavender and bergamot, and that mysterious fourth element that makes everything more complex, more interesting, more alive. But underneath those familiar notes, something else. Something that comes from skin and hair, and the invisible emanations of relaxation. The scent of other women's surrender, other women's peace. I breathe it in. Let it become part of me. Let it connect me to the flow of comfort and care that moves through this place like water itself. Madonna Elena was here. I can smell the faint trace of the chamomile oil she likes. The way it mixed with her particular chemistry. Her particular way of holding tension in her shoulders until the warmth finally coaxes it away. Madonna Francesca to the young wife with the serious eyes and the hands that remember work, even though she no longer does it. Her scent is fainter, more tentative, like she's still not sure she deserves this luxury, this attention, this care, and others. Women whose names I know, and women whose names I'll never know. All of them part of the invisible congregation that gathers here day after day. All of them seeking the same thing, finding the same thing, leaving traces of their gratitude in the water itself. I am part of that congregation tonight, not its servant, but its member. Not the one who creates the conditions for peace, but the one who experiences it, who surrenders to it, who allows it to work its small magic on my tired body and careful soul. The water holds me like a lover, like a mother, like the world itself reaching out to say, "You matter. You are worth this. You deserve gentleness." For this moment, I believe it completely. My head falls back against the marble edge, cool stone against warm skin. The contrast is perfect, grounding, a reminder that I'm still in the world even as I float apart from it. The ceiling is vaulted, stone arches that disappear into shadow, but I can see them in the candlelight, can trace their curves with my eyes, can imagine the hands that shaped them, the vision that conceived them, that by intention to create something beautiful as well as functional. That's what I try to do too. Create something beautiful as well as functional. Something that serves the body and feeds the soul. Something that transforms ordinary water into liquid grace. Madonna Caterina appreciated that. The aesthetic dimension of what I offer. The way every detail contributes to the larger experience. The temperature, the scent, the quality of light, the texture of the linens, the rhythm of the ritual itself. She understood that luxury isn't just about expensive things. It's about attention, care, the willingness to make every element perfect, to create conditions where beauty and comfort intersect. That understanding made her visits special, not just for her, but for me. The pleasure of serving someone who truly appreciated the craft, who saw the artistry in what might look like simple service. Without her, well, the work continues, has to continue. But something is missing, some recognition, some appreciation for the subtle complexities of creating perfect comfort. The other women are grateful. Of course they are. They pay well, tip generously, express satisfaction with the service. But it's different, more transactional, less aware. They want the result without seeing the process, want the comfort without understanding what creates it, want the luxury without recognizing the art. That's understandable. Most people consume without thinking about creation, enjoy without analyzing, take pleasure without questioning its source. But it leaves me feeling invisible sometimes, like a mechanism rather than a person, like hands rather than a human being with thoughts and feelings and her own need for recognition. Madonna Caterina saw me, really saw me, not just as the provider of service, but as the artist behind the art, the consciousness that shaped her experience, the care that made her comfort possible. That kind of seeing is rare, precious, hard to replace once it's gone. But maybe I don't need it from others. Maybe the seeing I got from her taught me to see myself, to recognize my own artistry, my own value, my own worthiness of the very comfort I create. Maybe that's the real gift she gave me, not her presence, but her example, the demonstration that it's possible to receive care gracefully, to value service without diminishing the one who serves, to participate in the economy of comfort without losing sight of its human dimensions. The water laps gently against my skin, warm, constant, patient. It doesn't need recognition to do its work, doesn't need appreciation to offer its gifts. It just is, present and available and endlessly generous. I could learn from that, from water's example, its willingness to serve without ego, to nourish without demanding thanks, to flow where it's needed without keeping score. But I'm not water. I'm human. I have an ego. I need recognition. I crave appreciation for the work I do and the care I give. That's not a failing. That's just truth. The truth of being a person rather than an element, of having consciousness rather than just existence. The challenge is finding the balance, serving from love rather than ego, giving from abundance rather than need, creating beauty because beauty matters, not because I need others to see me as beautiful. Madonna Caterina found that balance in her way, with her particular gifts and challenges and circumstances. She received gracefully because she understood giving, valued service because she had learned to serve in her own sphere. That's what made her different, what made her visits special, not her wealth or status, but her wisdom, her understanding that the economy of care flows both ways, that dignity exists on both sides of every transaction. I can cultivate that wisdom myself, can learn to see my work not as diminishment, but as expansion, not as serving others at my own expense, but as participating in the great circulation of human kindness. The steam rises around me, thick and warm and scented with mystery. It blurs the edges of things, makes the solid world soft, dreamlike, full of possibility. In this soft world, I am not just the soap woman. I am not just the one who serves. I am part of something larger, something more complex, something that includes giving and receiving and the endless dance between them. I am the water that holds, the fire that warms, the oil that soothes, the hands that know their work, the consciousness that shapes experience, the love that makes service sacred. All of it, none of it separate, all of it flowing together like the oils that blend in warm water, like the scents that merge into something more beautiful than any single element. Madonna Caterina was part of that flow too, still is, wherever she is. Her graceful receiving made my careful giving possible. Her trust made my skill meaningful. Her appreciation made my art visible. The relationship continues even in her absence, lives on in the knowledge she gave me, the example she set, the standard she established for what it means to participate in the economy of care with dignity and grace. I carry that with me now, into the water, into the steam, into the soft, warm space where all boundaries dissolve and what remains is just connection, understanding, the recognition that we all need tenderness. We all deserve comfort. We all participate in the great, ongoing work of caring for each other. The candles flicker, cast dancing shadows on the stone walls, make the whole bathhouse seem alive, breathing, pulsing with quiet energy. This is my sanctuary, my church, my place of worship and rest and renewal. Here, I remember who I am beneath all the roles and responsibilities. Here, I reconnect with the source of my service, the love that makes the work meaningful. Tomorrow I'll return to the practical world. We'll measure oils and tend fires and create conditions for other people's peace. We'll smile and serve and manage the complex social dynamics of shared vulnerability. But tonight, I am the one being held, the one being warmed, the one receiving the gift I spend my days giving. It's enough, more than enough. It's everything. The water embraces me. The steam surrounds me. The scent of mysteries fills my lungs. I close my eyes, let myself drift, let the boundaries between self and water dissolve. There is only warmth, only wetness, only the eternal rhythm of giving and receiving and giving again. I am part of it, essential to it, held by it. All is well. All is warm. All is exactly as it should be. The steam grows thinner. My breathing grows deeper. The day's work dissolves like soap in water. I float. I rest. I receive. And softly, gently, like water finding its level, I sleep. I wake in darkness. Not the soft darkness of evening, but the deep, absolute darkness that comes in the hours before dawn, when the world is still and quiet, and wrapped in that particular silence that only exists when everyone sleeps. Everyone but me. I'm awake, completely awake. My body still warm from the water, still loose and relaxed from the long soak, but my mind is clear, alert, ready for something I can't name. This happens sometimes, this sudden wakefulness in the deep night, as if some part of me needs this time alone, this space between one day and the next, where I can simply exist without the weight of purpose or obligation. I rise from the bath slowly. The air is cool against my damp skin, but not unpleasantly so, just different. A gentle reminder that I am separate from the water, that I have boundaries, edges, a distinct existence apart from the warm, liquid embrace I've been floating in. The linens are soft against my skin as I dry myself. They smell of lavender and sunlight, of the careful attention that goes into every detail of this place. Even the towels are chosen for their texture, their ability to absorb without scratching, to comfort even in the simple act of drying. I wrap myself loosely, let the linen drape around my shoulders like a cloak, like armor made of softness. It's strange how fabric can be protection too, not just from cold, but from exposure, from the vulnerability of nakedness, though nakedness has its own power, its own honesty. In the water, stripped of everything external, we are most ourselves, most real, most present in the simple fact of existing in a body. Madonna Caterina understood that, the power of nakedness, the honesty of it. She never seemed embarrassed by her body in the water, never tried to hide or minimize or apologize for taking up space. She inhabited her skin with a kind of grace I envied, still envy. The ability to be completely present in physical form without shame or self-consciousness, without the constant internal commentary that plagues so many of us. Where does that grace come from? Is it born or learned? Is it a gift of privilege or something deeper? Something that transcends circumstance and speaks to a fundamental acceptance of what it means to be embodied. I think about this as I climb the narrow stairs to my small room above the bathhouse. My feet know these steps, could find them in absolute darkness, which is good because the darkness is almost complete. Just the faintest suggestion of starlight filtering through the tiny window at the top of the stairs. My room is small, simple, but it has something precious, something that makes the cramped quarters feel less like limitation and more like luxury. A window, not large, but perfectly positioned, looking out over the rooftops of Florence toward the ancient church of Santa Croce. During the day, I can see the tower rising above the maze of terracotta tiles, can trace the lines of streets and alleys that web between the great buildings, can watch the smoke rise from 100 chimneys, and know that each one marks a life, a story, a small world complete unto itself. But at night, the view transforms, becomes something magical. The city sleeps, but it doesn't disappear. It changes, becomes softer, more mysterious, more like a dream than a place. I settle onto the narrow ledge by the window, pull my knees up, wrap the linen more tightly around my shoulders. The stone is cool but not uncomfortable, worn smooth by years of my presence here, years of looking out at Florence in all her moods and seasons. This is my meditation, my prayer, my moment of connection with something larger than the bathhouse, larger than my small life of service, pour and steam, and the careful tending of other people's comfort. From here, I can see it all. The great dome of the cathedral, pale in the starlight. The tower of the Palazzo Vecchio, standing sentinel over the sleeping city. The dark ribbon of the Arno, reflecting whatever light it can find. all of it quiet now, all of it resting, all of it dreaming whatever dreams come to cities that have stood for centuries and plan to stand for centuries more. Sometimes I wonder what Florence dreams about, what memories move through her ancient stones in the deep hours of night, what ghosts walk her streets when no living eyes can see them. The Romans, maybe, the ones who first built here, who saw the promise in this bend of the river, this defensible hill, this place where water and earth and sky come together in perfect harmony. Or the merchants, the ones who made Florence rich, who sent their goods across the known world and brought back wonders, spices and silks and ideas that changed everything, that made a small city into a great power. Or the artists, the ones who are here now, who fill the workshops and studios with the sound of hammer on chisel, brush on canvas, the patient work of making beauty from raw material. Michelangelo is somewhere out there, in his workshop near Santa Croce, working by candlelight, probably, coaxing figures from marble that seem more alive than the living, creating beauty that will outlast us all. I've never seen him, never been close enough to the workshops where the famous artists work. But I know he's there, can feel his presence in the city, the way you can feel a storm coming even when the sky is clear. Madonna Caterina might know him, might have seen his work, might even have commissioned something, a small piece for her private chapel, a gift for her family, something beautiful to mark some moment worth remembering. The wealthy can do that, can surround themselves with beauty, can commission artists to capture their faces, their stories, their vision of how the world should be, can leave traces of themselves that will persist long after their bodies return to dust. What traces will I leave? What evidence that I was here, that I mattered, that my small life of service had value beyond its immediate practical benefits? The women I've tended will remember me for a while, until age dims their memory or other concerns crowd out the past. They'll remember the feeling, if not the details, the sensation of being perfectly cared for, the peace that comes from surrendering to expert hands. But they won't remember my name, won't tell stories about the soap woman who understood the alchemy of oil and water and temperature, who created conditions for small miracles of relaxation and trust. That's as it should be, probably. Service works best when it's invisible, when the comfort it creates seems effortless, natural, like a gift from the universe rather than the result of careful human attention. Still, sometimes I wonder what it would feel like to create something lasting, something that would speak my name to future generations, something that would say, she was here, she mattered, she added beauty to the world. But then I think about the water, the women who sink into it weekly, seeking peace, the small transformations that happen in the space between arriving tense and leaving relaxed, the way a perfect bath can change someone's entire day, entire week. Maybe that's lasting enough. Maybe the ripples of comfort I create spread further than I know. Maybe the peace I offer to one woman affects how she treats her children, her servants, the people she encounters in the market or the street. Maybe small kindnesses compound. Maybe the careful tending of tired bodies adds up to something larger. Something that changes the texture of the world in ways too subtle to measure, but too real to deny. Madonna Caterina carried my care with her when she left. I could see it in her posture, her expression, the way she moved through the world with a little more grace, a little more ease, a little more willingness to be gentle with herself and others. That's something that's valuable. That's a kind of art, too, even if no one will ever hang it in a gallery or carve it in marble. The stars are bright tonight, brighter than usual. Maybe because the air is clear. Maybe because my eyes are adjusted to the darkness. Maybe because I'm seeing them from this particular window at this particular moment, with this particular mixture of contentment and longing in my heart. They look close enough to touch, close enough to pluck from the sky and hold in my palm like pearls, like tears of light frozen in the vast darkness of space. Do the stars see us? Do they watch our small lives unfold with something like interest, something like compassion? Or are we too small, too brief, too insignificant to register in their ancient awareness? I like to think they see us, like to imagine that our struggles and joys and moments of perfect peace matter to something, are witnessed by something, are held in a consciousness vast enough to contain all of human experience without being diminished by it. Maybe that's what prayer really is. Not asking for things, but acknowledging that we are seen, that our lives have meaning beyond their immediate circumstances, that the love we give and receive participates in something eternal. The bathhouse below me sleeps, but I can feel its presence, its patient readiness for tomorrow's work. The fire's banked but not dead, the water cooling but still warm, the oils waiting in their careful arrangement, all of it ready to serve, ready to create conditions for comfort and peace, ready to offer what I offer every day, the possibility that we are worthy of care, that our bodies deserve tenderness, that there is always, somewhere, a warm place waiting to receive us. That's my prayer, my gift, my small contribution to the vast project of human kindness. It's enough, has to be enough, is enough. A sound drifts up from the street below, soft footsteps on stone. Someone else awake in the deep night. Someone else drawn out into the darkness by restlessness or inspiration or the simple need to be alone with their thoughts. I wonder who it is. A baker, maybe, starting the early bread. A night watchman making his rounds. An artist leaving his workshop after hours of intense concentration. Or maybe someone like me. Someone who serves others all day and needs these quiet hours to remember themselves, to reconnect with their own needs and desires and the dreams that sustain them through the daily work. We're all out here, the secret society of the wakeful, moving through the sleeping city like spirits, like guardians, like witnesses to the beauty that only exists when no one is trying to see it. Florence is most herself at night, most honest, most willing to reveal her secrets. During the day she's all business and bustle, and the careful performance of being a great city. But at night she relaxes, lets her guard down, shows her softer face, like the women in my baths, like Madonna Caterina sinking into warm water with a sigh of relief, like all of us when we finally feel safe enough to stop pretending, stop performing, stop being anything other than what we are. The city breathes around me, slow and deep. I can feel the rhythm of it, the way air moves through streets and alleys, the way warmth radiates from stone that spent the day absorbing sunlight, the way even sleeping places have their own life, their own consciousness. I breathe with it. Let my rhythm match the city's rhythm. Let myself become part of something larger, something that includes all the sleeping souls and wakeful spirits and ancient stones and flowing water, all connected, all part of the same vast, breathing entity that we call Florence. But that is really just life itself, expressing itself in this particular arrangement of stone and water and human dreams. Madonna Caterina is part of this breathing too. Wherever she is, whatever room she sleeps in, whatever dreams move through her mind in the deep hours, she's connected to the same source, participating in the same vast circulation of consciousness and care. Maybe that's why her absence doesn't feel like loss anymore, because she's still here, still part of the flow, still breathing with the city and the night and the ancient rhythm that connects all living things. Maybe we never really lose each other. Maybe connection transcends physical presence. Maybe the care we give and receive creates bonds that persist beyond time and space and the temporary circumstances of where our bodies happen to be. The thought is comforting, makes the night feel less lonely, makes my small room feel less like isolation and more like a perfect vantage point for witnessing the great ongoing dance of existence. A breeze stirs the air, carries with it the scent of the river, of flowering trees, of bread baking somewhere in the darkness, of all the accumulated fragrances that make Florence smell like home, like sanctuary, like the place where I belong. I pull the linen closer, let the soft fabric warm my skin, let the gentle pressure remind me that I have a body, that I am more than just consciousness floating in the night air, that I am anchored to earth by flesh and bone and the need for warmth and comfort, but also more than flesh and bone, more than the simple collection of needs and desires that walk through the world in this particular shape, something that connects, something that serves, something that loves, all of it true, all of it necessary, all of it part of the mystery of being human in a world that is both harsh and beautiful, both challenging and kind, both temporary and eternal. The stars wheel overhead, the city dreams below. The night holds us all in its gentle embrace, and I am here, present, awake, grateful for this moment, this window, this view of Florence sleeping under her blanket of stars, grateful for the bathhouse below me, the work waiting for tomorrow, the women who will come seeking comfort and find it in water warmed by my care, grateful for Madonna Caterina, wherever she is, for the grace she brought to my small world, for the example she set of how to receive care with dignity, how to trust without losing strength, how to be vulnerable without being weak. Grateful for my hands, my knowledge, my ability to create conditions for peace, my small but essential role in the great circulation of human kindness. Grateful for the night, the darkness, the silence that makes space for thoughts too deep for daylight, for the communion with something larger that comes when the ordinary world sleeps and the secret world awakens. All of it gift, all of it grace, all of it exactly what I need in this moment to remember who I am and why I'm here. The window frames it all, makes it all visible, makes it all real. Santa Croce rises in the distance, ancient, solid, enduring, a reminder that some things last, some things matter, some things are worth the effort of building them to outlast their builders. Like the care I give, like the peace I create, like the small daily miracle of making tired bodies feel better. It may not be carved in stone, may not bear my name, may not survive the centuries, but it lasts long enough, matters enough, is enough. The breeze stirs again, cooler now, carrying the first hint that dawn is still hours away, but no longer unthinkable, that the night has a shape, a boundary, a natural rhythm that will eventually carry us back to light, but not yet, not quite yet. For now there is only this window, this view, this moment of perfect communion with the sleeping city and the watching stars, this feeling of being exactly where I belong, doing exactly what I'm meant to do, being exactly who I'm meant to be. It's rare, this feeling, precious, something to be savored, something to carry back into the daylight world, when the time comes to return to work and worry and the endless complexity of human needs. Something to remember when the water grows cold, or the fires burn low, or the work feels too small to matter. This feeling, this moment, this perfect peace that comes from understanding your place in the vast, breathing wholeness of existence. The night holds me, the window frames me, the city dreams below me, and I am home, finally, completely, eternally home, in my body, in my work, in this moment of clarity that cuts through all confusion and leaves only truth. I matter. My work matters. The care I give matters. The stars bear witness. The stones remember. The water holds it all. And slowly, gently, like the city herself settling deeper into sleep, I begin to drift, not toward sleep yet, but toward something softer, something quieter, something that feels like coming home to a place I never knew I'd left. The window holds the view, the night holds the window, the darkness holds us all, and all is well, all is peaceful, all is exactly as it should be. The stars continue their ancient dance. The city breathes her steady rhythm. The night wraps around everything like a blanket made of silence and starlight. And I am part of it all, essential to it all, held by it all. The view from my window toward Santa Croce, the breathing city below, the eternal stars above, all of it home, all of it sanctuary, all of it exactly where I belong. I close my eyes, feel the night air on my face, feel the city's breath matching my breath, and softly, naturally, inevitably, I drift toward the deepest peace, the most perfect rest. The window watches over me, the city holds me, the night embraces me, and all is well, all is warm, all is home. The darkness grows softer, my breathing grows deeper. The boundaries between self and city dissolve. There is only peace, only presence, only the eternal rhythm of breathing and being and belonging. I rest, I float, I am held, and gently, gently, like water finding its level, I sleep. The first light comes soft, not sudden, but gradual, like the slow warming of water over a careful fire. Grey giving way to pearl, pearl giving way to the faintest suggestion of gold. Dawn arriving not with announcement, but with whisper. I wake to it naturally. No jarring return to consciousness, but a gentle rising that feels like floating up through warm water toward light. My body knows this rhythm, has learned to match itself to the city's breathing, to the natural cycle of rest and waking that governs all living things. The linen has slipped from my shoulders during sleep, pooled around my waist like spilled cream, but I'm not cold. The air itself has warmth in it now, the promise of day, the stirring energy that comes when Florence begins to breathe warm again. From my window I can see the changes, smoke beginning to rise from chimneys, a light appearing in a baker's window, the subtle shift from sleeping city to waking city, from private dreams to shared daylight, but slowly, so slowly, as if the world understands that transformation takes time, that the passage from night to day is sacred, deserving of reverence, worthy of attention. Wrap the linen round me again, not from cold, but from ceremony, the ritual of covering, of preparing, of making myself ready for whatever this new day will bring. Below me, the bathhouse waits, patient, ready. The fires banked but not dead, the water cooled but still warm. Everything poised for the day's first stirring, the first attention, the first careful restoration of perfect conditions. This is my favorite time, before the work begins in earnest, before the needs of others reshape my day around their requirements. When the bathhouse is still mine, still quiet, still holding the memory of yesterday's care and tomorrow's promise, I move slowly. Let each motion be deliberate, meaningful. The descent of the narrow stairs, the soft placement of feet on stone worn smooth by countless passages, the gentle opening of doors, the careful entry into spaces that have waited all night for my return. The main bath holds yesterday's water, cooler now, but still carrying the scent of oils, still holding the invisible traces of women who sought comfort and found it, still patient, still ready, still perfectly positioned to receive whatever I pour into it. I test the temperature with my hand, cool but not cold, like touching silk that's been left in shadow. Still pleasant, still inviting, just different, changed by time and the natural cooling that comes when attention shifts elsewhere. This water served well yesterday, held tired bodies, carried oils and scents and the accumulated weight of released tension. It has earned its rest, its transformation, its return to the earth that made it. I open the drain, watch the water spiral away, disappearing into the ancient channels that carry all used water back to the Arno, back to the great circulation that connects every bath in Florence to every other, that makes every drop part of the larger flow. The marble reveals itself as the water recedes, pale stone with veins of darker color, beautiful in its own right, solid, enduring, ready to be cleaned and prepared and made perfect again. This is meditation for me. This cleaning, this preparation, the scrubbing away of yesterday's accumulation, the restoration of surfaces to their essential purity, the careful attention to every detail that will make today's experience perfect. I work with soft cloths and gentle soap, nothing harsh, nothing that would scratch or stain or diminish the marble's natural beauty, just careful cleaning, patient tending, the kind of attention that honors what it touches. The stone warms under my hands, responds to pressure, seems almost alive in the way it accepts care, appreciates attention, becomes more beautiful under the influence of loving touch, like skin, like all the surfaces that deserve tenderness, that reward gentleness with their own form of grateful response. Madonna Caterina had skin like this marble, smooth, warm under touch, responsive to care. I remember the way she would settle into the clean water each week, the way her body would relax against the stone, the way she would close her eyes and trust completely in the conditions I had created. That trust was a gift, a form of communication more profound than words, an acknowledgement that what I offered was valuable, meaningful, worthy of her complete surrender. I carry that gift with me as I work, that memory of perfect trust given and received, that knowledge that what I do matters in ways both obvious and subtle, that the careful tending of tired bodies is sacred work. The marble gleams now, clean, ready, perfect for whatever will be asked of it today. I run fresh water over its surface, watch it sheet and flow, and disappear down the drain, clearing away the last traces of soap, leaving only purity. Now for the fires, the careful rebuilding of heat, the patient coaxing of flames from embers, the gradual warming of air and water and stone, the restoration of perfect conditions. This too is meditation, this attention to fire, to the ancient element that makes comfort possible, that transforms cool into warm, ordinary into luxurious, basic need into perfect satisfaction. I add wood gradually, oak well seasoned, cut to the right size for sustained burning. The flames catch eagerly, leap up to embrace the new fuel, fill the air with the clean scent of good wood properly burned. Heat begins to build, slowly, naturally, the way it should build, without hurry or force, just the patient accumulation of warmth that comes when all elements work in harmony. While the fires work their magic, I prepare the oils, the same careful selection as always: rose for softness, lavender for peace, bergamot for brightness, and that mysterious fourth oil that makes everything more complex, more interesting, more alive. But today I paused before adding the mystery oil. Hold the small bottle up to the growing light. Watch the liquid catch and hold the early sun. See depths in it I hadn't noticed before. Complexities that reveal themselves only in perfect light. What is it, really? Where does it come from? What distant place? What exotic plant? What careful distillation of essence into this small glass container that holds such power to transform? The merchant who sold it to me smiled when I asked, said some mysteries are better left unsolved, that knowledge can diminish wonder, that the not knowing is part of the magic. Maybe he was right. Maybe the mystery is the point. The reminder that not everything needs to be understood to be appreciated. That some gifts are best received without analysis, without the need to reduce them to their component parts. Madonna Caterina understood this. The value of mystery, the pleasure of not knowing. She never asked what oils I used, never demanded explanations or recipes or the secrets of my craft. She simply trusted, simply received, simply allowed herself to be surprised by scent and sensation. That trust made my work easier, more intuitive, less burdened by the need to explain or justify or defend my choices. I could simply create, simply serve, simply offer what felt right in the moment. Today feels like a day for more mystery, more of that unnamed oil, more of the complexity that comes from embracing the unknown. I add extra drops. Watch them disappear into the warming water. Feel the scent begin to rise. Familiar yet strange, known yet unknowable, perfect in its imperfection. The water is warming now, steam beginning to rise from the surface, the air softening, the bathhouse transforming from cool efficiency to warm welcome, from preparation to readiness. I test the temperature, still too cool, but warming steadily. Soon it will reach that perfect point, that precise degree where bodies can surrender completely, where the water becomes not just warm, but embracing, not just wet, but transformative. This is the crucial time, when all the separate elements begin to merge, when fire heats water, when oil scents steam, when the mechanical becomes magical, when service becomes art. I move through the final preparations slowly, arranging linens, checking supplies, making sure every detail is perfect, every element ready, every possible need anticipated and provided for. The light grows stronger. True daylight now, golden and warm and full of promise. It streams through the high windows and makes everything in the bathhouse glow. The marble, the steam, the carefully arranged oils and soaps and linens. All of it beautiful, all of it ready, all of it waiting for the first knock on the heavy door. the first woman seeking what I offer, the first opportunity to practice the ancient art of caring for tired bodies and weary souls. But first, a moment more of quiet, of solitude, of connection with the work itself rather than its recipients. A moment to appreciate what I've created, what I offer, what I am. The steam rises steady now, thick and warm and scented with mysteries. It fills the air with promise, with possibility, with the invitation to surrender to something larger than individual need or desire. This is what I make, not just clean water, but conditions for transformation, not just physical comfort, but the possibility of peace, not just a service, but a sanctuary. It's good work, important work, work that matters in ways both immediate and eternal, work that connects me to something sacred, something that transcends the ordinary boundaries of commerce and service. The first knock comes as the bells of Santo Spirito ring prime, soft but confident, the sound of someone who knows what waits behind the door, someone who has made the decision to trust, to seek, to allow herself to be cared for. I smooth my dress, check my appearance, arrange my face into its working expression, professional, welcoming, ready to serve with all the skill and attention I possess. But underneath, something new, something that wasn't there before last night's bath, before the floating, before the memory of being held instead of holding, before the understanding that giver and receiver are not separate roles but parts of the same eternal dance. I am both. We all are both. The woman at the door needs care, but she also has care to give. I offer service, but I also receive. We are about to participate together in something that transcends simple transaction, something that acknowledges our shared humanity, our mutual need for gentleness. The door is heavy. The hinges protest slightly as I pull it open, but behind it vivises light, warmth, the promise of meaningful work well done. A woman stands there, young, nervous, someone I don't recognize, but her eyes hold the same need I see in all their eyes, the same hope, the same willingness to trust a stranger with her vulnerability. "Good morning," I say, my voice steady, welcoming, professional. The water is ready. She smiles, steps inside, begins the small ritual of preparation that I know so well. The careful removal of cloak and gloves, the gradual transition from street self to bath self, from guarded to open, from separate to ready for connection. I close the door behind her, lock it against the world outside, create the sacred space where transformation can occur, where the ordinary rules are suspended, where care flows like water and trust dissolves like the finest soap. The day begins, the work continues. The ancient dance of giving and receiving starts again. But today feels different, feels richer, feels more complete, because now I know both sides of the dance. Now I understand what it means to give and what it means to receive. Now I can offer not just service, but wisdom, not just skill, but understanding. The woman settles into the warm water, sighs, lets her shoulders drop, allows herself to be held by conditions I have created with all the love and attention I possess, and I begin again. The work, the art, the sacred practice of tending tired bodies and weary souls, of creating conditions for small miracles of peace and trust and transformation. My hands remember their purpose. The water holds us both. The steam carries our unspoken prayers up to whatever listens. All is ready. All is warm. All is exactly as it should be. The woman closes her eyes, lets herself drift, trusts in the perfection of temperature and scent and touch, participates in the eternal ritual of caring and being cared for. I am the soap woman. She is the one who seeks comfort. But we are also both simply human beings, sharing a moment of perfect peace, both giving, both receiving, both part of the great circulation of tenderness that keeps the world from growing too cold, too hard to separate. The work continues. The water holds us. The city breathes warm around us, and all is well. All is blessed. All is home. The steam rises. My hands move with practiced grace. The woman's breathing deepens and slows. We are connected. We are safe. We are exactly where we belong. In the warm water, in the scented air, in the perfect moment where giving and receiving become one thing, one sacred act, one expression of the love that moves through all things like water through stone. The bathhouse holds us. The day holds the bathhouse. Florence holds the day. And we are held, all of us, always, in the great embracing warmth of a world that knows how to be tender. The woman sighs, settles deeper, trusts completely, and I tend her, carefully, lovingly, with all the skill and attention I possess. The work is perfect. The moment is perfect. The connection is perfect. All as it should be. All as it has always been. All as it will always be. The water warms us. The steam surrounds us. The ancient rhythm continues. Care given. Care received. Love expressed through the simple act of tending tired bodies with gentle hands. This is my life, my work, my gift to the world, and it is enough, more than enough. It is everything. The steam grows thicker, the water grows warmer, the woman grows more peaceful. I breathe deep. Feel the scented air fill my lungs. Feel myself becoming part of the ancient flow, part of the eternal circulation of kindness that keeps the world alive. Ready, always ready, for whatever comes next. The water holds us all, patient and eternal and perfectly, endlessly warm. Like love, like grace, like the best parts of being human. I close my eyes, feel the steam on my face, feel the connection flowing between us like invisible thread, and softly, gently, naturally, the day unfolds. The work continues, the love flows. All is well, all is warm, all is home. The city breathes, the water holds. The hands remember their ancient purpose, and we are blessed, all of us, always, in the warm embrace of endless, patient care. I open my eyes, see the woman peaceful in the water, See the steam rising like visible prayers. See the light streaming through windows like benediction. This is my world. This is my sanctuary. This is where I belong, in the service of comfort, in the practice of care, in the ancient art of making tired bodies feel better. It is good work, sacred work, work that matters. The woman smiles without opening her eyes, knows she is safe, knows she is cared for, knows she is exactly where she needs to be, and I tend her with all my skill, with all my love, with all the wisdom learned from floating in warm water under a sky full of stars. The work is perfect. The moment is eternal. The connection is complete. All as it should be. All as it must be. All as it will always be. The steam rises. The water holds. The love flows like a river, and we are home. Finally, completely, eternally home. In the warmth, in the care, in the perfect peace that comes when giver and receiver remember they are one. The bathhouse breathes. The city sleeps warm. The world continues its ancient turning, and all is well. All is blessed. All is exactly, perfectly, eternally right. I breathe, deep and slow, in rhythm with the water, in harmony with the steam, in time with the great heartbeat of existence itself, and gently, naturally, inevitably, I rest in the perfect knowledge that this is enough. This is everything. This is home. The steam is warm now. My heart is full. The work continues. I close my eyes. I breathe, tell and softly, like Florence herself, settling into peaceful sleep. I am at peace.